Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of the Scratch and Track podcast presented by the Dude and Grim Show. I am the Dude.
And I am Grim, and today we are talking about Seeds by TV on the Radio.
Yes, we are.
As of late, the most recent album that they've released.
Which is crazy because it's 2014. And
I know.
I don't. Here's the thing. I don't know if they've got another one in them. And you know, since we have everyone here, first of all, we should ask you to go ahead and
like, subscribe, and comment.
And what I would like you to comment below on is, look, this is their most recent album. Does anybody know if they like officially broken up? Because I don't know if that's like they've announced that or you know they're working on other projects. I'm not really sure, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I think part of the reason this is the first album they did after their bassist Gerard Smith passed away in 2011. And so I think they might have kind of just like left it all out there because I didn't know about that incident until I actually started researching this album.
I didn't either.
Some things really kind of, I was like, wow, okay, that means something different than I thought it did.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing, so I read about Gerard Smith, right? Their bassist.
Gerald.
Yeah. Huh? I think it's
Gerald.
Pretty sure it's
Gerard.
Gerard.
Or Gerald. I could have had an autocorrect. I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, died at 36 from lung cancer.
Lung cancer.
Damn, that is. And it's funny, as I'm like about to turn 40, I think about it. I'm like, God, dude, I've already lived another, you know what I mean? It's crazy to think of someone passing away at 36 for something like lung cancer. Don't know if he was a smoker or anything, if any of that had a contribution to it, or if he just got lung cancer, because cancer's a real motherfucker like that, and it can just get people. And
yes.
Yeah, it's really terrible, and I don't know. It was interesting though, because they wrote a song about him on the 9 Types of Light album, Killer Crane, that was dedicated to him. But other bands, one of which is the Dirty Projectors, wrote a song about him too.
Interesting.
And I'm not a huge fan. My wife, Lisa, introduced me to the Dirty Projectors. Not a huge fan of them. But I really think that's awesome that they wrote that song about it. I think that's really awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can't say I know a whole lot about him as a bass player or a story. I mean, it sounds like he's been with the band. The band had been together for a while, and yeah, it's pretty tough. But it sounds like to me, just even reading and stuff, they took, after that happened, they took time off, and I think this is maybe their way of their kind of therapy. Yeah, sure.
Did you read about how he came to be in the band? Because that is an interesting story. So apparently, Tunde, who is the lead singer, and dude, I'm really gonna try here, but Tunde Adebimpe is the lead singer of the band. I like that. So apparently Gerard Smith was in other bands. I mean, there was one called Midnight Masses and a Rose Parade, which he was in these bands, and I think they're all Brooklyn based. But he was busking in a subway, like in the subway station at Bedford, in Brooklyn. And I guess Tunde saw him busking and really liked what he was doing. And he left like money in his thing several times. But what Gerard Smith, I guess, didn't realize at first was that he was really into film. And Tunde had been in this movie called Jump Tomorrow on IFC. And it took him a minute, but eventually he recognized Tunde from this movie. And I think something that was interesting was he eventually approached him and said, "Man, I saw you in this movie. I love the movie." And I think one thing he said that to him, it was a big deal because in this movie, Tunde wasn't just a black actor. He was just a person.
Right.
And he said like it meant a lot to him. And he was a black actor that wasn't in the ghetto. And it was just, he was just a fucking person in the movie, which I think is really, really interesting. And so after that interaction, I guess Tunde recruited him to be in the band. And
sweet.
Yeah, there you have it.
I mean, that's pretty great, dude. What a good story.
I know. It's a really cool story. So yeah.
Well, with this album, I think, like I said, they'd had a break. They didn't have an obligation to the record contract or recording studio in anything like that, or record label. I mean, not recording studio.
Yeah.
And so they went to how do you say his name? Dave Sitek?
Yeah, Sitek. Yeah,
Sitek. His home studio, which it sounds like, just from a little bit of reading I did, he might be producing other bands.
Oh, he is. I think he's done stuff with. Let me pull it up, but I mean, we're talking bands like Weezer, and like he's done some. He's
people you'd know.
Yeah, he's done stuff with Jane's Addiction too. Production. God, dude, production. He's done a lot of production work. The Yeahs, the OCs. Oh fuck, he did the OCs. I like the OCs.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, there's Santa Gold. Definitely heard of Santa Gold. It looks like he's done all the Yeahs albums. Dude, Pussy Riot, Straight Out of the Vagina. I don't know if you're familiar with that. They're a Russian band, and there was actually like a big thing about them because they were like doing these protests in Russia, and it was a big deal. But yeah, Pussy. Dude, he did Weezer's Black album, Our Lady Peace. Wow, interesting.
Okay.
So his list of like production work is quite. Oh, Bat for Lashes, I've heard of her. It's pretty impressive.
Well, so they went out to LA because that's where I guess his home studio is, and I think all the previous albums they'd actually done in Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. And I think Tunde even said that wherever, I don't know if this has to do with their most recent albums up to this point, but in the interview I said, he was like, he mentioned that where their previous studio was, now that there's a J Crew. So wherever they recorded, maybe it was their first couple albums or something like that. He was like, there's a J Crew there now. So,
and I believe he was also quoted as saying, it's nice to be somewhere when you're not exactly on the clock and worried about how much everything is costing you, which amen to that.
Well, there's that too. And it's interesting because one of the previous scratch we did last week was the Who's Tommy. And we were talking about how they were in this studio for like 6 months, like writing the album, and then they'd have to play shows on the weekend just to like cover the costs and everything. Whereas on this, man, if you just got somebody who's got a home studio, like I have a feeling they probably weren't paying a whole lot of money to, for whatever. And you probably just stay there. And, it seems like, again, me not being a musician, but I've heard a lot of stories about how bands really like to either go to someone's home or rent a house and kind of have their studio in there and live there. And it just becomes kind of like
this collaborative space and
where you can do whatever you want. I can also see it from the perspective of there's something about going to a studio, a space that is specifically dedicated for that purpose. You don't have maybe distractions and things, that you would have, but then, there's the whole money aspect to it and everything. So,
well, yeah. And to finish out that quote that I had just mentioned about not worrying about what it costs you. This is something that I found particularly interesting. And he said it was pretty much the same situation as when we started making music. Now, for a band who's been around for quite a while and done a lot of things, that has to be a wonderful feeling to just do it for the reason that you always wanted to do it in the first place. Right?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I totally agree. And, there's some other, I read a few articles where I think Dave Sitek even said, I believe it was him saying this. And he was like, we didn't have a label, so we didn't have to do it. We did this album because we wanted to do it.
I was going to say that, and that's amazing.
And that's the best reason to have to do it. You're not feeling you're in debt to anyone. It's like, no, we're doing this for us. We're, is it a tribute to him, right? So
well, and I guess they announced in 2014 when the album came out or prior to its release that they've been through a lot of stuff the last few years. Well, of course, we talked about that. But they said they got it together and took stock of the unique connection they have with each other. And they said the record is 1,000% without a doubt the best thing we've ever done.
Well, it's my favorite of theirs.
I agree. I agree.
Of theirs.
As a whole, it is definitely my favorite of theirs too.
I would say this one and Dear Science. I'm a huge fan of Dear Science.
I honestly, I really like their first one. And it's interesting because when I think about how I got introduced to this band, I can't tell you how I got introduced to this band. Because I kind of, there was a period in my life where
I heard them through you.
Yeah, I would like every week or every couple weeks, I would order a CD off of Amazon. Mm-hmm. And I ordered something, and I think it suggested TV on the radio, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to check it out. I think the name is cool. I'm going to check it out.
The name is cool.
It is.
That is one of the best band names ever. TV on the radio, man. It's
so I ordered their first album, Desperate Youth and Bloodthirsty Babes.
Bloodthirsty Babes. Yeah.
And I remember just putting on that first track and hearing the horns and then that guitar, and I was just like, holy shit.
Yeah. Well, I remember, and we were fans of them, but I remember you coming to Lollapalooza and we were walking around, and I don't even know. I think we were walking to like another stage. And then I don't know if we went specifically to their stage. I thought
I feel like I did because I knew they were playing and I wanted to see them.
Because I just remember walking by and be like, oh, that's TV on the radio. Oh, sweet. Okay, cool. Like there they are. And that was, it was when they had one of their, they weren't a headliner, so it was one of the 45-minute sets that we caught. And yeah,
but I think it was after Return to Cookie Mountain had been released. Because I think I remember them playing Wolf Like Me.
I heard that.
Yeah, okay. And I think I remember them playing Wolf Like Me, which is my favorite song off Return to Cookie Mountain. Which brings me to, you sent me the interview to watch with them regarding Seeds and how they recorded it, which I found very interesting. Yeah. And then, of course, in pure YouTube fashion, which I love, it suggests other things. And one of the things it suggested was this video that said kids interview bands. And I'm like, this sounds interesting because I have a 6-year-old daughter and she will ask some like far out things. So I figured it would be really funny to watch. And the kid who interviewed them was this cute little girl, and she asked some funny things. But the best thing she asked is she's like, what kind of cookies is Return to Cookie Mountain made out of? And the band handled it. The band was so great. I think it was Tunde and it was Dave Sitek in the interview. Okay. And they were like, no one's ever asked us that question before, which I thought it was really cute.
That's awesome, man. It's funny when you get that because, sometimes in some of these interviews and after
people
these
are
bands,
so
they're like, sweet, I get to answer this question for the 10,000th time, just so you can quote it in your article. Fine, I'll do it. They're just so checked out. But like that kind of question, they're like,
oh, they both laughed. It was great.
Yeah.
Now, how did you hear about this album? I didn't mean to step on your toes there, but
no. So I was just, I was a fan of, I liked their early stuff. I had Return to Cookie Mountain, and then, I didn't listen to him for a while, but then I think Dear Science came out.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, I'm going to pick that up. So I picked that up and I loved it. I thought it was awesome. Or what? Something weird happened. Like this was back in the day before I would say downloading music on iTunes and all that stuff was kind of tried and true. And it just wasn't like even there wasn't like the iCloud match and all that stuff. I forget whenever it came out. So I downloaded it, and for some reason my download was like messed up, and it just started with Family Tree, which I think is like song 5 or something. And so I thought that's like how the album started. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. That's an interesting way. And then somehow down the road, all of a sudden it was like, oh, no, that's not the first song. There's like 4 or 5 other songs before that. And I was like, okay, well, that's a bonus, right? Cool.
And this is Dear Science, right?
Yeah, it's Dear Science.
Because, dude, I love the first track on that album, which is Halfway Home.
It was Halfway Home.
Oh, man, that's a good track.
Well, and then, dude, I'm going to be honest, man. I downloaded and bought 9 Types of Light because I like the single off that song.
Okay.
And I'm not, maybe I need to go back and listen to it. It just hasn't resonated with me. I haven't loved 9 Types of Light. And then this album came out and I was like, all right, whatever. I'm going to give them another shot. I think I heard Happy Idiot probably as a single and I was like, okay, it's kind of catchy and stuff. So I was like, all right, I'm going to give it a shot. And man, I just put it on and there were some songs that I was like, dude, this is really good, man. I dug it. So that's kind of what happened for me.
So man, I had purchased also Dear Science on CD because I wasn't totally like collecting vinyl at that point, which probably would get it on vinyl now. And I really liked the album, but I didn't think much else of it because and not to say that I'm like, scouring the internet for like, is this band going to release something? I just hadn't thought about it. And then one day my wife and I went to the record store and dude, Lisa grabbed this album Seeds on vinyl and I had not heard it. I didn't know that they even released an album. Yeah. And, of course we brought it home and put it on. And I'm like, damn, this is really awesome. Like, fuck, this is a really good album. And then of course, dude, looking at the packaging, which I think we got to put the B-roll stuff on this one, which we did for the vinyls episode. But dude, pay attention to the B-roll as we're talking about it, because I have never seen a more fantastic idea and design with album packaging. Yeah. And then it was even cool because when we were talking about it, you told me that like you can't get this album right now on vinyl.
I mean, I've looked. I mean, you can find it on Discogs, I'm sure, but I've looked at my local shop. I can't find it, and just even going to their website, I haven't been able to find it either. So,
dude, this thing is it's hefty. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's it's 2 records and it's 2 180s. I'm quite sure. Ooh. And dude, just with every surface of it, and even some of the spots in the book. I mean, and this is cool too. I like that. But dude, the way that the when you move that little film over it, which we're showing
it looks
right
awesome.
Now, it's so amazing. I mean, it's like this animation sequence,
this hologram animation.
Oh, it's so cool. It is. I remember seeing that, and I was like, I thought about it, and I thought, man, I've never seen a design more unique in any sort of packaging.
No, yeah, dude, I'm 100% with you, man. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
I was a huge fan.
And to boot, the album's really awesome too. So I mean,
so there's that. So when they were getting down to recording this, like Tunde said, there's a couple different numbers they threw out. Like I think Dave said it was 50. Tunde said it was 60 or something like that.
But a bunch of songs.
They had a bunch of snippets, sounds. Some stuff they said was like some really just like far out shit.
Which I would actually like to hear because their music is kind of far out just as it is.
It is. So it's like, man, what do they consider far out?
What is their kid A? I'd like to know.
Yeah, what is their far out? But then he said, I think it was, he had sort of almost like thousands of these little snippets, even of him, just like audio, and whether it's humming or he's doing certain things. And so he brought like the most recent couple months, and then they had these other tracks, and he was like, basically he called them voice notes. That's what he called them.
Like on your phone.
Dude,
exactly. I do song ideas like that all the time on the notes thing on the iPhone.
Sweet. Yeah, I mean, dude, now that you have like a handheld recorder, like that does a million other things.
Yeah.
But then they'd take those, they'd narrow them down to like 20 tracks or so, and then they'd pick sort of 10 to 12 that they wanted to work on. And, one thing he said that was like, he's like, we'd work on it, and we'd, pick out songs, and we kind of work on them quickly. They didn't overthink things, but if something didn't get finished in 2 or 3 days, then they just drop it. It was just like, boop, all right, yep. It's not
that is interesting. It needs to get done. Yeah,
moving on. Next. But he said this album actually went really quickly, and he thinks part of it was taking some time off to do it. But he also said, much to our surprise, we know what we're doing now. It hasn't always been like that.
Yeah.
So it was nice to find out that we could just kind of go and do that. And that was something they were excited about and proud of. And it's like, at what is this? Their fifth studio album. They've been doing it for a while, especially with Dave being sort of like a producer and whatnot. It's like, man, you just go in there and kind of get it done, and don't overthink it, right? So,
and it's interesting because, and we can get into this a little more in the tracks, but one thing I've noticed about TV on the radio is there are some songs where you can hear like a predominant guitar part or something.
I did.
But there are some songs where you're like, you really wonder how they came up with it, because the predominant thing is something you can't even put your finger on. And that's one thing that's interesting when you look at the band and you look at the credits, because most of the guys in the band get credits for other things that they play, but almost every one of them says loops or sequencers. So they all like,
right.
They all like just kind of mess with
thing.
this shit. Yeah, it's really interesting.
And so it was funny that you bring that up, because especially with this album, I tried to kind of pinpoint what I liked about it. And at least with this album, there aren't that many. There's some, but there's not many moments where I'm just like blown away by some sort of like instrument part or
I agree.
Sort of, it's
but
almost
the whole
sound
aesthetic
as a whole.
of it is it's great.
Dude, it's such a pleasing sound, and his voice. It's interesting because I don't want to say he doesn't sing, because he does sing.
Oh yeah,
but
he does.
The way he delivers his vocals is very different. It's hard to explain.
No, I understand,
because it is it is singing, but it's just very different. It's hard for me to articulate that.
And so this leads me to where we're at, to some of these reviews that I think a lot of the reviews are really shitty, man. Like, and I'm not going to like read the actual reviews, but just some of the numbers. Any decent music ? I don't know who you are. You only gave it a 72 or a 7.2 out of 10. So basically a 72 out of 100. That's too low.
Gave it a 72.
No, they gave it a 78. That still sucks.
Okay. All right.
Dude, All Music gave it 4 stars. I agree with this. AV Club gave it a C. Fuck off. Q Point and Entertainment Weekly both gave it an A-. I think that's okay. But, there's just... even Pitchfork, dude, and I generally tend to kind of agree with Pitchfork, although apparently they gave one of Kanye West's albums a 10 out of 10 upon its release. I would like to get a bag of whatever you were smoking that day, because Jesus. But
hey, if it was My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, I don't know if I give it a 10 out of 10. But
no, I wouldn't. I would not give it a 10 out of 10. And
that's very generous.
It's extremely generous. Like, you must feel sorry for him because he's fucking nuts. But even Spin only gave it a 7 out of 10. And I think those reviews are kind of shitty. Like,
Yep. That's the reviews for you, though, man. They're just always all over the place.
Yeah, I know. And it makes me kind of question a lot of that. Like, I don't know, but that's another conversation, I suppose.
It is, but quickly. I mean, I think that's something, you and I. Not to say that they're reviews, but when we do our first impressions, like, it's a first impression. Is it a review? It sort of is, but it's not like, hey, this is etched in stone. Like, this is how I feel about the album. It's because you need time with the album.
Totally agree. And I think that's where a lot of these people, and this is
you people?
This is kind of shitty of me to say because it sounds pretentious.
He's gonna say it,
and I don't. I am, and I don't mean it like that. But some of these people that do things, I'm like, have you ever made a fucking album? Do you play an instrument? So how credible is your, and not to say that anything I've done,
because I haven't.
Well, yeah, but you actually at least have a reasonable mind in terms of, I don't know. That's just me ranting, but
I could, I could probably even debate that. I definitely hear what you're saying.
I feel like you view things in a pretty even keel way.
Well, yeah, I try to. I try to put both shoes on other feet and see what happens.
Sure. See if you can walk. Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard. So.
Dude.
Anyways. On the title of the album, Seeds, Tunde said, it makes a lot of sense now that I think about it, but it was the idea of regeneration or something growing back into place.
Yeah.
Which makes perfect sense after losing someone who basically you'd probably consider, to be a brother. So I thought that was really cool, but so much of and we can probably start getting into the tracks now. So much of this really made a lot more sense, after reading this and kind of getting an idea where their heads are at while they were making the album. And, even as we go through the tracks, when I was like listening to them and make them, like, I've listened to this album probably 100 times, if not more. I mean, I've listened to it so many times. I started making my notes and I'm like, man, it's weird because there's so many things. And like we talked about, I'm like, nothing really. I was like, I love this song. It's a great song.
But why?
And yet I can't pinpoint like this moment or this tone, or I love this transition or this guitar riff or what. It's just like, no, like we talked about the whole of it.
I know.
So I might actually, I have notes on all of these songs, but it's going to be hard to really, I think, talk specifics, but let's give it a shot.
Yeah. So Quartz.
All right. Quartz. Dude, this one starts so interesting.
I know.
Because it's like in the middle of some sort of harmonic chant that they're doing. It almost doesn't start on time.
I know, and that's what I think is kind of cool about it, because just to put the needle down or hit play or whatever you're gonna do, it almost takes you off guard.
Yeah, it does. And, to me, it feels like a warm up. It's not, again, like many of the songs on this album, it's not guitar driven.
No,
it just has this kind of beat and sort of these kind of classic background vocals, and they have that kind of harmony going and whatnot.
Yeah,
it's cool. I like how it seems like they all kind of sing background vocals on it.
Yeah. And one thing I guess I was going to say about that is I get, especially someone who's like you and myself and probably a lot of the audience who's listened to many albums that have like some sort of slow build up. It's just very interesting to listen to something that is the complete antithesis of that, but at the same time, you like it. You like it.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
So careful you.
Careful you. So I like that this song starts off with him like kind of singing French.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
I
agreed.
So I guess his wife is French. And
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I guess that's. I imagine that's why you put that in there. Now, I feel bad. I did not do my homework. I should have looked up what it means. What words mean. But it sounds good.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm like, yeah.
Now, one thing I like is the play on words in this one, where he says, yes, I care for you, careful you. Like the way that those that struck me about this, the way they do.
Yeah. I put that down as well, because I always knew this song was Careful You, but the way he sings it, I'm just like, wait, dude, he's saying careful you. Careful you. And I thought it was, I thought it was really cool. But again, there's things that all of a sudden, like these lyrics, I know it's best to say goodbye, but I can't seem to move away, where you're just like, okay, that makes more sense now. Like, didn't know. I just didn't know, man.
Yeah.
And so things just get a little bit of a heavier, deeper meaning.
Yeah, sure.
Even though, in a weird way, it's, when you think about losing someone probably that close to you, you're like, oh, we're going to put maybe some more intense, darker songs and stuff. The feeling of a lot of these songs
is not
even
that.
Though they may be, no, even though they might be deeper and thoughtful, they're not this, there might, there's some remorse and some sadness for sure.
Yeah, but overall, I find the album to be uplifting.
Melancholy. Yeah. It's almost like, at least from a musical perspective, hey, we've come to terms with it, and it's that process.
Yeah,
I
sure.
guess. So, anyways,
sure.
Song number 3. Could you?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well. So the first two songs, I wouldn't say, maybe they're a little chiller, a little slower. This one actually starts and it has, it's more a beat, and that there's like a sort of a rock groove to it.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think what lyrics stand out.
I can't remember. I think it's this one. Could you? It's got the guitar, right? Like mm-hmm. Now there are different, and this is. Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
I think that's a 12 string. I don't know, but I think that's a 12 string that they do that, and I really like that song, and I love the way that the 12, or I'm going to say the 12 string, but I really love the way the guitar goes with the vocal melody.
Yeah. No, 100% right. I do like that. It is, da-na-na-na,
yeah.
Da-na-na-na. It does have a nice groove, and I really do kind of like. There's a few songs that do have that more guitar driven. Yep. And this is one of them.
And there's and you're gonna have to remind me of the one, because I did not put this in my notes, and I wish I would have. But there's one that really starts with like distortion, and I was gonna talk about the different types of distortion. Okay. But we'll get there when we get there. Well, the next song, Happy Idiot, is the single off the album. And for me, I love this song. I do too.
I think it's great.
And I love the lyrics. I mean, it's so perfect for our time.
It is, right? To me, it's just the idea of a happy idiot, someone, at least the way I interpret it, someone who's very naive person, buries their head in the sand, only focuses on, what's in front of them.
Dude, ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's exactly it. What you don't know won't hurt you. Yeah. Ignorance is bliss. I'm a happy idiot.
Yeah.
And dude, I will be 100% honest. There are times where I'm like that in life as well. When it comes to certain things, I'm just like, man, I got other shit I got to worry about.
Dude, I understand. And I think to some degree, everyone's like that.
Yeah.
You can't be 100% woke all the time on everything that's going on.
Mm-hmm. Dude, it's like if you live in a major city and you go to the grocery store, there's those people standing outside and they got like the green vests on, and I'm like, dude, I want to save the rainforest too. I do, but I don't have time to listen to you talk to me for 10 minutes and sign some paper that I gotta be honest, probably isn't going to do anything. But I support your cause from afar, and I'm going to try not to fuck it up. I'm sorry. Greenpeace or whoever, would you like to be our sponsor?
Well played.
Dude,
played.
I cut my plastic pop can things. Like I do.
I've actually really tried to just like, to use as little plastic as I can. Cause dude, plastic
it's the worst to fucking
destroy. It's terrible.
How have we not figured that out yet? Like somebody is just making too much money.
Oh, dude, the Plastics Council. And then I remember those commercials when we were younger, and they're like, plastics make it possible. Dude, make what possible? The fucking Great Pacific Garbage Patch? Holy shit, dude.
Exactly.
Like, God. Anyways.
I mean, dude, it is like the great line from The Graduate, though. He's like, I got something to tell you. I got one word for you. Just one. Don't say anything. Plastics. See, that's why I only drink out of aluminum. Dude, I saw an ad the other day, and they're like 90% of everything that's been made out of aluminum has been recycled and put back into making other aluminum now.
Well, I actually believe that, but here's the line I got for you. Every piece of plastic you've ever used is still here.
Damn.
Think about that. Every fucking bag, every bottle, every goddamn piece of plastic you've ever used is still here.
So I hope you're real proud of yourself.
Yeah, you assholes. So test pilot.
Moving on.
Test pilot.
Damn. All right.
It's a little slower. It kind of takes it down a little bit.
And I'm good with that because
sure.
Could you and Happy Idiot raise the tempo?
Yeah,
up?
I agree.
I like his cadence that he sings with. And here's the thing with this song and many of his songs, you can try to interpret his lyrics, and some of them you certainly can,
but a lot of them you can't.
There's other ones where you're just like, and to be honest, I think sometimes it's just like, hey, these words sound good together, and I'm gonna sing them, and,
like Beck.
And that's what
you're right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But what do I have down is I feel like like with this song is them trying to navigate moving forward after losing this person, and he says and we are gliding through the things that tear us apart. We are high and we are fine, and we're going to need the strength it takes. So pave the way and be the first test pilot. It's like I almost took that to believe it's like hey, we've gone through this. This person's gone. Now we're in uncharted territory.
Yeah,
and we're gonna have to do this for the first time.
Wow.
And so just from a deep symbolic perspective, if other people have thoughts or ideas, please let us know below.
Yeah.
But moving on, song 6, Love Stained.
Yeah.
What do I got with this one? So I mean, it starts off with kind of percussion in synth. Synth. He sings it real soft in the beginning, and but it's soft, but it's kind of quick. And then it kind of picks up. But I like when he sing. What does he sing here? He says, with brutalized romance, our criticized slow dance, your head, but we're still not afraid to share this with careful awareness. In the middle of the night. Dude, I just love when he gets to that part, man. It's so good. Like, yeah. But another line, dude. Another shining morning, and your breath's got you by the lungs. Like, I think that's kind of a cool line too, man. So there are some things where even if you don't fully understand what he's talking about, they sound good.
They do. It's like very kind of poetic lyrics.
Right.
Now with Ride, Ride has kind of a longer piano intro.
Dude, it's like over 2 minutes, man.
I know.
Now
and then it kicks in.
Oh, it does. The funny thing was, though, dude, when I was listening to this, and I look down at the bottom when I'm listening to
where the lyrics
Apple
are.
Music. It's got the words. So it credited, and I believe this is a mistake by Apple. So Apple, I know you're watching, fix this. Gary Gentry and JB Detterline Jr. were they're credited at the bottom. And so I'm like, well, that's weird. I'm like, this song, I don't think it's a cover. So I looked up exactly. So there's a country song performed by David Allen Coe. Coe? Yeah, no. David Allen Coe.
Is it really?
Yeah, well, no, here's the thing. The song by David Allen Coe is called The Ride.
Dude, David Allen Coe is dirty.
Okay. Well, I think in their database, they must have kind of messed that up and given the song,
that's interesting.
Really I was like, and I listened to the song The Ride, and it's not like this.
I would imagine this because David Allen Coe is a different trip. Yeah,
exactly.
Wow, anyways, that's really funny.
Dude, but the TV on the radio one, this is one of my favorite songs on the album, man. I love it, dude. I love how it, sometimes I'm like, with a long piano intro like that, you could be like, all right, guys, I'm ready. Yeah. But man, once you have that piano intro, once it hits, man, it's good, dude.
Yeah.
It's good.
Agreed. Right now. Could do a songs of the same name with Van Halen's Right Now.
Oh man, damn.
Anyways,
if only people watch more of those, then we do them. Hey,
I know.
If any of our longtime fans want us to bring back songs of the same name, please let us know below. Because
subscribe and comment below.
Do it just for you. But you said something earlier when we were talking about this album and the songs, and how you're like, there's a guitar in it. But nothing sort of stands out, right? Like nothing. Yes. And so there's a guitar in this song, but it's really just kind of used as background, almost like accent, where it's not. You're like, there's a hard. You're listening.
Like you probably didn't write the song on it, right?
No. Yeah, probably not. Like there's just a lot of stuff kind of going on. But what is it? Oh, here's a line. Is letting go of the source of loss.
Oh, wow.
That is kind of that. If you think about that for the next 20 minutes, like that's a trippy line.
Yeah.
And I don't know about this because these guys they smoke a lot of weed, I think. I'm pretty sure I've read that. And man, in that video, that YouTube interview, I was like, man, these guys at points, I know they're really intense, like deep guys. And you can tell that they are extreme intellectuals. Like these dudes are smart, man. They are smart. But there's this line, an imaginary need for the city little dream. Pass it right now. I was like, all right.
Pass it. Yeah. All right. I'll take it.
Where are we at? Track number 9, Winter. Now I don't have a lot of notes on this song, but this song actually, the sound of it reminded me of some of their some of their earlier stuff, where it's a little more rocky.
Is this the one with the fuzz?
Fuzz with the fuzz, yeah.
Okay,
this
so
is the one with the fuzz.
This is one thing, and this is, me being kind of nerdy, but there are different kinds of distortion in a guitar. Yeah. So recently we talked about the White Stripes Elephant. Right? Now, when you listen to Elephant, you hear distortion on the guitar in some of those basic tracks. Not the crazy, heavy solo bits that are overdubbed. But that is true analog distortion, where it's like the result of tube-driven amps being cranked up and they have a distortion circuit on them. But that's true analog distortion. Then you got fuzz. And fuzz has its own unique sound, but this one can only be described, and I've seen this on certain pedals, as crunch.
Ooh!
I mean, listen to that distortion and tell me it just doesn't crunch when it's na 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 na. I mean, there's something about, and I can't. I can't describe to you why, but it sounds like crunch. It just is. It just is. And fuzz is thicker. It's a fucking square wave, which doesn't exist in nature. Right. But this is crunch. Captain Crunch.
Well, dude, speaking of, I don't know, maybe about crunch, but rock, dude, the next song, dude, Lazerray, dude, 4,000 years ago.
I know. Is it Lazerray or is it Lazerray? Like a laser ray, like.
I think doesn't he say Lazerray? Lazerray, tension. Dude, but this one's another one that's really, really rocks, man.
I know.
And I it's interesting because I feel like there are some upbeat songs earlier in the album, but I feel like towards the end, these with Winter and Lazerray, like, man, they really, really get into it. And there's one part where I really like the way he sings it. I'm not going to sing it like him, but he's like, well, I heard the psychic sun that she could fuse us into one. If only we could take the light. Well, I got mine. Yeah, I got mine. Oh, dude. Dude,
it makes you think of the Black Keys. I got mine.
And I got mine. This is one song. I don't know. I have not. Other than when we saw them in Lollapalooza, I have not seen them live. Not seen them live.
No, I have not either.
I would, man, and shit. I don't know if I will now at this point because I don't know if they're even together. So
hey, but dude, you got to.
I gotta find a way, dude. They actually, there's some good YouTube videos of them playing some Dear Science songs live.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I'd like to check that out.
What song is it? It's like Love Dog and DLZ or something. Those are two of my favorite songs on the album.
Yes, those are great
Lonely
songs.
Little Love Dog.
Yeah.
No one knows. Oh, dude, it's so good, man. I'm a huge fan of those songs. But we're on this album. So track number 11, Trouble.
I think this is the first use of acoustic. Yeah.
Right.
And I just there's something that I will always distinctly remember about listening to this for the first time, and just the line, I keep telling myself everything's going to be okay. Mm-hmm. And that's such a. I think it's important to have songs that express those kind of sentiments because it's so easy to get lost in the minutia of just the bullshit that you go through day to day. And you can feel like you're fucked and everything is messed up. But you need songs like this to remind you that it is
going to be okay, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay. No, and I mean, and from their perspective, like, man, like this is one of those songs where I'm like, wow, this hits a little deeper now.
I know. Dude, absolutely. Really, and I also didn't know that upon like the first listen to the album because again, didn't even know it was an album.
Mm-hmm. Well, and even this song gets really, really full.
I know.
I think they double the acoustic. It's got synth. It's got the beat. They're singing, and the vocals are doubled. And then they even add background vocals and harmonies. And you're like, dude, you got yourself a stew. Right? Oh,
dude, yeah. You got a stew going. I think this is probably my favorite song on the album. I would say.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay.
There's something that is just a warm, rejuvenating feeling about it, and I really appreciate it for that.
Cool, man, dude, I dig that. If you would have said, hey, what do you think Grimm's favorite song is? I probably would not have picked this one, but I'm glad.
Yeah, you would have picked the rock one.
I don't know, maybe.
But see, the thing is, I like fuzz more than I like crunch.
Fuzz, not the fuzz. All right, now we get to the last track, the titled track. Woo! Seeds. All right, yeah, Seeds. I'm trying to think what I had on this one. I do think it is, and I'm kind of going off the lyrics here. I think it is about making the proper steps to move forward, and grow, which we kind of talked about on the title album. But I do love the idea and
the Dude and Grimm Show.
Grimm Show. Rain comes down like it always does. This time I've got seeds on ground.
Yeah,
it's almost like, when shit's okay in life, you know, you're not doing the preventative stuff or the things to
preventative maintenance.
Preventative maintenance.
Dude, yeah.
Exactly. Thinking of you, Mark. But you know, we're not, you know, you're not doing the things to prepare yourself for maybe when things
shit
aren't
gets
so
bad.
great.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so it's like, oh, this time I've got seeds on ground.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, you know what? Things are going to take root this time. Right. And,
I learned something here.
Exactly.
I learned something here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Also, dude, and I'm wondering if this is a direct, I'm sure it probably is. And if you hadn't shown me all the things I never dreamed of, I do not think that I'd be missing you. So,
wow.
And it's just like,
yeah, that's really, really good lyrics. I mean,
yeah.
Really
and
good
some
lyrics.
of them are deep and way over my head. Yeah. I mean, you could have like some kind of a English class or a class.
Oh yeah, sure.
And really do a deep dive into some of his words and lyrics and stuff, which, you know, sometimes just let them be too. Right.
Dude, I hear you. Sometimes art is truly in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah. All right, man. You're on the tee this time.
Am I?
You are. I did Tommy.
You did.
What you got?
I found this to be a very difficult one to scratch.
Agree.
And dude, okay, I find all of them to be a very difficult one to scratch. So with that in mind, I'm going to say none of them it's perfect. Just kidding. Yeah, I'm not going to be that guy. Love Stained.
Oh, okay.
And again, not because of any dislike for it. I don't dislike any song on this album. It's just the other ones tend to have a little more of a hold on me than that one for various reasons that we talked about in highlighting each of the songs. That's just, I guess, the one that has the least hold on me. It's not a question of disliking it. So
yeah. I can't disagree with you there. We're not going to go into overtime.
okay.
And I'm not going to be overly upset about it.
Okay, so I'm not getting a WTFITS.
No.
What the fuck is that shit?
Because I could also easily go from test play right into Ride, because I like Ride. The TV on the radio version, not the
Van Halen.
McCoy one. Yeah, or that one. So this one I might get the
Incubus.
I might get it on this one. I'm actually gonna go with Quartz, man. Track number 1.
No, I'm not giving it to you on that one. I can understand that. Because it is kind of an abrupt way to start.
Yeah, and for me, when I think of an album, it is very important. Like, I put so much emphasis on like how you start an album. And when we were talking about it, I thought I took your point and I did give it second thought for the next 23 minutes. And I was like, that abrupt sort of start like that, maybe I give him some credit for that, because it's very, again, it's original. It's, it's not,
it
not
most certainly is
the way you do it. But then I look at the rest of the songs and I'm like, man, I think the rest of that song kind of doesn't like it doesn't do anything for me. And like I said when we were talking about it, I feel like the song is kind of a warm up. And I could and I could easily start with "Careful You" singing in French and everything. Like, I'm good there.
Yeah, this would also work. So
yeah,
no, I hear you.
And so you said your favorite song is "Trouble," right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'll tell you what, mine would be. It would either be "Ride" or Lazerray, man. It might be Lazerray.
Either one of those I can see, and they were like kind of on my short list for sure.
They're good songs. Really good songs. Well, I think we should ask the fine people out there, one, what is your favorite song?
And what would you scratch?
And And where do you rank this in TV on the radio albums? Your favorite, somewhere in the middle? Are you just like, I don't know?
Dude, it's definitely my favorite album of theirs overall. No question.
I think it is my favorite. I think, I will say, I think Dear Science for me is like a 1B, but I do place this one just above that.
Yeah.
I think.
I just think it flows better and it has less for my money, which I don't remember how much this costs, but worth every penny. This is the one.
This is the one, man. This is the one.
So
this is the one.
With that,
my friends,
I think
family,
we scratched it.
Our friends, our family. Yes. We might as well say goodbye. We're going to be back sooner rather than later next week, I'm sure.
And dude, I like what you reminded the audience of last time, which is Mondays are fun, Wednesdays are scratches. That line stuck with me. I really like that.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad. Yeah. All right. Hopefully it sticks with them too.
Dude,
all right.
One in a row. Yeah.
And it's time to go.
On the Dude and Grim Show.
Scratch a Track is produced by the Dude and Grim. Additional music provided by Moore and the Tims. Copyright 2021. The Dude